Very warm welcome to our grand finale to the Climathon Bangalore roundup session. It is a pleasure to see many of you, to see many of your names and some of you also on camera. This is of course an invitation for everybody who can, who wants to share us on camera. It has been a long way to actually get here. 50 hours virtual ideation marathon. It's nothing simple to accomplish. It's not easy to achieve. And over the past, or through the past 50 hours, I would say, um, you all worked hard in working through the phases. And I guess there were quite a few challenges along the way that came with the Climathon Bangalore. One of them, first of all, was to, well, find your way onto the collaboration and communication platform, Slack, to access the materials that we provided on Drive, to then find your tribe, to come together as a team, to form a team, to build a team, and then really work through the empathizing, defining, ideating, prototyping, testing phase to get to the space where you're in now, where we are in now, to actually coming together and celebrate the moment of success that I would argue all of you have submitted and will submit, if not quite yet, will submit their solution ideas in a 2-minute video pitch and the submission form, which will then, of course, be passed on to the judges for assessment and evaluation. It's been a long stride, and I'm sure we're all tired. I am, and I did least of the work, I would say, because I was not involved in the ideation. So first of all, I think it is the opportunity to give us all a round of virtual applause for actually making it through, to coming to the session, to having accomplished the challenge of developing a solution idea on the waste management issue that we set out to develop. So a round of silent applause to everybody. It's been a ride. It's been a journey, and I'm sure, as every journey, this has come with frustration along the way. This has come with a lot of learning. Hopefully, this has come with exploring new connections, meeting different people, coming together from different walks of life, people that you would probably have not expected to meet, and actually tackling an issue that we care about, that we came together around, and that we decided to work on throughout this Climathon Bangalore. So with no further ado, I would say, let's get this roundup session started, in the sense that there will be just a very quick review of what we'll be doing. So the coming up next is an opportunity for all the participants on the call, and well, everybody really on the call, to get together in smaller groups and among yourselves have conversations, exchange experiences, talk about, you know, your feelings, your impressions, your frustrations, your moments of joy, your unexpected moments, the most expected moments, whatever it is, and then come together back to the forum and just share some of the conversations that you had as your team, because of course that is part of the activity, part of the Climathon, and part of also what we are doing. It's not just about, you know, developing and coming up with a solution idea. It's also about actually forming part of a movement, and forming part, connecting to a bigger cause always means also connecting to a community, building community, and working with this community. So task and teamwork go always hand in hand. So that will be the first activity for the session. Then we will be moving on into a conversation with judges, and here also your reflections and experiences will come very handy for judges also to weigh in upon, to talk about, and really kind of to share more impressions, more also experience, and probably also some advice going forward, because this is only the beginning. We have many of you have come up with a solution idea. but well, what worth is an idea if there's no follow-up? And talking about follow-up, then of course we will be, as the last part of the session, look into the next steps, what is ahead, what you can expect going forward, and also hopefully that you continue the work that you have started going forward. So without much further ado, I would like to take this opportunity, first of all, to move to the next slide, because we're now opening our reflection and experience exchange and reflection session. And there's two key questions, or let me call it impulse questions, that we are interested, or that we suggest you discuss when you're moving into breakout groups. First of all, and that's a very generic question, is how you experienced the 50 hours innovation marathon. And the second one is relating to what are important lessons you learned throughout the Climathon Bangalore. So very open questions, really also to give you an opportunity to unpack whatever needs to unpack. As I said earlier, we will be setting up breakout groups. It will be randomly assigned. So you may be with people that you've worked with before, or you may not, which is a good thing, because as again, also building community, getting to know people, networking towards a greater cause is what we're here for, is what we're doing. And in your team, once you're in your breakout rooms, and once you get the conversation started, make sure to have to look for one volunteer, or assign one volunteer, however you want to go ahead, and that volunteer who would bring back your key point of your conversation, or some relevant things that you would like to share also from your breakout group to the forum once we conclude the session, or the smaller group conversations. You have about 15 minutes, 15, for the conversation, and of course I will be giving you the occasional heads up via messages, so that you can keep talking in your rooms and get a sense of how much time you have left. I hope the instructions are more or less clear. I hope you're in the mood already to actually use this opportunity to do a little debriefing, to do some to get conversating, to get talking about your experiences and how it has been. And please use this opportunity. As I said earlier, breakout rooms are not recorded. It's your space, it's your opportunity. You can talk about whatever really is, whatever is the moment of itch that you need to tackle, that you want to get out, whatever is on your mind, to really bring this also on to the group, and see how other people also experienced the 50 hours that we're just about to conclude. All right, so I will be opening breakout rooms now. Please watch out for the invitation to join your breakout room, and I wish you a fruitful conversation. Seize the opportunity. It will not be recorded. It's your time to actually talk about your experience, your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, whatever it is. And we'll see you in about 15 minutes with one volunteer or one designated group representative to report back on the things that you would want to share also with everybody else. See you on the other side. Well, hello back, everybody. It's been very silent in this forum, but I hope it was not at all silent in your breakout rooms. That would be horrible. I may have said this about 1,000 times before, maybe not. I am the most curious person in the world, and I am definitely curious to hear how the conversation went. What are some of the things that you talked about? Of course, everything only that you also want to share on this forum, because of course this is an opportunity to connect back to the bigger forum, to share some of your observations, the experiences, some of the learnings also throughout the process with everybody, and hence kind of touch base and connect back with the other breakouts and see what is similar, what is different. Is there anything similar? Is there anything different? Or are we all on the same page or not? Who knows? We shall learn and see and hear. As an invitation, I see more and more people joining on camera, which is great. It's been 50 hours of working together, so I guess if your network allows for it, if you're decent-ish and you want and can join us on camera, please do, because putting a face to a name is always much more interesting and much more lively than just staring at a black screen with a white name in it. So open invitation. And as we're kind of trying to find our camera button, the activate camera button, there is next to it, there's the microphone button, which I now would like to ask the team representatives to use. I was about to say to activate, but actually I have to deactivate the mute in order to activate your microphone, and invite whoever team representative would want to go first to share a little bit about the conversation. Please go right ahead. If you can state your team number, but for breakout rooms, not team, sorry, breakout rooms, the breakout room number, your name, if you remember who was in your breakout, fabulous. If not, I understand, I'm horrible with names, so I would be the one person probably not being able to remember. And share a little bit of your conversation. So volunteers first.
Hello, can I go first?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I forgot the number of the breakout room I was in, but the other participants were Indumati ma'am, Mansi Jaggi, and Amenta. I forgot his name. I'm sorry, Sabarish. Yes, so we discussed how we felt about the whole event, and what we thought were the best parts, what we enjoyed a lot, and what we thought could be improved a little bit. Should I elaborate more?
Well,
I
you
feel
made me even more curious. So if you don't mind, if that's okay with your team, please go for it.
well, there were 3 points. No, the points which Indumati ma'am summarized as what could be taken forward, improved a little, was um, the breakout rooms. Sometimes when there were participants from different groups with a mentor in one room, uh, there was some amount of hesitation involved in expressing their ideas in front of other group members. So if all the members of one group could be with just one mentor in one room, that might have been a little better. Also, the mentor Sabarish, he was saying that if the last mentor hour was preponed a little bit, that might have been better. And I personally felt the thing with me and my team is we were all very interested in it. So the very first day after forming the team, we were brainstorming and trying out, discussing ideas. And what we thought was the problem and the solution should be large scale, like citywide. The next day, on the first Zoom meet with uh, the conducting staff of the organization, of this event, I mean, we figured out it had to be a specific problem and a specific solution. So perhaps if it was written in the guidelines for the event that it had to be a specific problem, like we could have saved a little more time, is what I felt. But it's okay, we managed to pull through in the end on the time management part.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Meghana. And how was in general kind of the mood? How was the vibes? How you mentioned earlier that you also talked about how everybody was feeling. Do you mind sharing a little bit on that end also?
I felt, and the other participants, sorry, Mansi, also the mentor, I guess we all felt quite good about the event. No complaints.
No, excellent. And it's not all about complaining or improving. It's also sometimes just about, connecting to self and experiencing how you're doing in this moment. So if you feel good, that's definitely something that is great to hear also. And I think you have all the right to feel good, and you have all the permission to feel good if you need the permission, because you managed to get through, and that is not an easy thing. Thank you so much, Meghana. We'll figure out the number of your room. If anybody remembers the number of the room, that would be helpful to me, because of course I did not take notes on who was in which room. So I can spare you for the next time and not call you out again.
And just one thing to add, of course, what was also discussed was their key takeaways with respect to not just the event as such, but then on a personal level, what is it that they are taking back with them? So that was also something that they both shared, you know, the limits and then their efficiency, how it kind of worked with in a compact time bound manner, how they were able to kind of, although they thought it might be difficult, but they ended up actually doing a lot of things. And Mansi even mentioned that it was more like watching an edge of a seat thriller, because they were like, you know, either talking or, you know, this moving into the mentor hours or something else. So that way, I guess, you know, overall, I think the mood, as they put it, they had their points of differences and, you know, even kind of, you know, breaking points, so to say. But however, you know, they still kind of tided over all that, and they are where they are today. So that was a wonderful sharing of experience indeed. And Meghna, by the way, I'm Hindu with no mati. Lars, by the way, mati in Sanskrit means
I think I forgot to read the K.
I am Hindu Murthy, no issues.
Well, thank you for the clarification, and thank you all for the added information. This has been great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Breakout room question mark. We're yet to figure out your number, and I invite another breakout room to also connect back. And yes, please. Adam?
Okay, so we are from Breakout Room 2, and we had Neha Sharma, and I think one of the mentors just left. Sorry for that. And so yeah, so basically in the beginning we discussed like how the whole ideathon went, like the first 2 days. So personally, what even I felt was initially the first day we are all relaxed, getting to know each other. But then the second day it's like, oh, it's 4 o'clock. When it's 4 o'clock, like let's do the idea soon. Let's submit the proposals. I even remember Rakshit putting up a timer in our meeting so that we know when the deadline is. And so that was really fun. And we got to meet like a lot of people that generally you don't like get it. For example, like, you know, I expected a lot of college students, but I actually worked with working professionals. And that was like one of a key takeaway, because their perspective on things is really different. And other than that, also to continue this like later on, I know that Manasi also mentioned in the group that this whole platform, this community of people, we should carry on after the Climathon, right? It doesn't end here. And so looking forward to that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Arun. Much appreciated your feedback, your check-in. Great to hear that, you know, it's not just the what happened so far and we stay here, but you're projecting this out, because after all, waste management, climate action is not an instant thing. It is a process, it is a journey, it is a massive challenge. And well, the Sustainable Development Goals set the bar quite high by 2030. We have just 10 more years to go. So definitely thinking in the what comes after is the way to go. Much appreciated. Is there anything else, anyone else from group 2 who would like to add? I think that worked quite well in group 1. I figured out the number earlier. If not, I would like to invite a representative or volunteer from either group, Breakout Room 3 or Breakout Room 4, to give a quick recap, to share a little bit of the conversation you've had in your room.
So I'll go. I was in Breakout Room 3, and so there was Vigneshwar, Dr. Naveen, and Arundhati Palak from Waste Tech, and also for a brief moment, Indu ma'am was there. So the key takeaway or the key experience that I think we shared was that the 50-hour time seems uh, less initially, but when you get that pressure later on, the pressure of submitting on time, your productivity shoots up automatically. And so it's all about how you uh, what your mentality when you start working. Like if you are on the edge from the beginning, you can you can boost your productivity. So that was the key takeaway. And yeah, we so Arundhati and Palak shared that they felt that it was the time was a bit short for them to figure out. Initially, it was not clear. Even to me, it was not clear. So when you mean we have to make a prototype or test, so I initially thought we have to build an actual physical model. So I was scared as well. How can we do that in 50 hours? So there should be some change to that keyword. I think virtual prototype or idea prototype or something like that. That will clarify things and make us little calm. Yeah, that was mostly what we discussed. How the time is perceived and how it actually feels when you start doing things.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sumit. Great insight, great observation. And of course, with every innovation process, I would say it's messy, it's confusing, it's stressful at times. And nonetheless, I hope that you still had a good time in between. Because after all, innovation is fun because we are creating a different we're working to create a different ecosystem, and that should be really fun. That's quite something. And points well taken on the prototype. Of course, there's only so much that can be done in a virtual space to prototype.
One more feedback
Yes,
I would like to add. It would have been better if it was on a weekend, because like most lot of people are working professionals, so we couldn't give uh, uh, complete 50 hours. So me personally, I think the first 25 hours I couldn't contribute anything. So uh, our team, we started doing the real research work and ideation and everything yesterday midnight, and then we were almost working till morning 4, and then had a few hours of sleep, and then we started again in the morning until 4. So if it was on a weekend, we could have paced ourselves properly. That
absolutely,
is one
absolutely.
feedback.
Yeah, and just to mention, there will be an evaluation survey after. So please, I mean, we're taking notes of what you're saying here, and it's really important also to share this in a group. Again, this is really important feedback going forward. So please make sure to be as critical as you can be going forward, because that can only help to improve future climathons, virtual ideathons. And to make the impact we want to see. Thank you so much, Sumit. Thank you so much, Breakout Room 3. 1 to 3 so far. Last one to go, Breakout Room 4. I'm very curious to hear what happened in your space.
Hello. So Divya, Rakshit, Monica, and I were in one breakout room, and we first began to speak about the apprehensions we had in the beginning of it, not just about ourselves, about how it would pan out, what would happen. We were quite clueless, and yes, so we came into it not knowing what to expect really. And then Monica spoke about how she was the only team member who is actually based out of Bangalore in her team. So um, uh, she says she learned a lot in giving insights and how to convince other people about her ideas, and basically working with people in the virtual space. And I think that is something Rakshit and I also did learn with working with other people in the virtual space. And both of our biggest takeaway was time management with the whole thing, figuring out how to a lot pace ourselves, like Sumit said. Um, that was a yeah. and also we also did learn how there can be so many ideas floating around, and that knowing what not to pursue is also an art, especially in a time period like this, which is 50 hours. So yes, and that was what we discussed. Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. And it's really it's heartening. It's inspiring. It's great to hear all this feedback, constructive, and also, of course, to hear your confusion in the beginning. And the observation some of you made earlier. Hey, I expected everybody to be students, but actually not, which was a really rich part also of in the teams, kind of to have this diversity and difference. And I guess kind of one thing that the pandemic, I would say, kind of amply has taught us and has shown that a lot of what we probably weren't used to do in a virtual space can still happen. There's magic that can happen. Of course, it never replaces the personal interaction, the physical interaction, but there's a lot of things that can be done, and it has the great opportunity that not everybody has to be in the same physical space, because we can connect on a virtual platform and really leverage this diversity. And from what I hear from you to many of you, this was certainly one of the things that also stood out. And I guess part of this connection and bringing different different audiences, different stakeholders together is also well, part of the different audiences and stakeholders, put me this way, are also our esteemed judges who have been part of this Climathon Bangalore. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask, so you can actually see what I'm talking about also on the screen. And you have met many of them already in the opening panel. Introduced the perspectives and viewpoints representing where they're coming from, and also the points and relevant issues that connect and combine waste management, climate, environment. And I would like to hand over the conversation to my dear colleague Neha, who will be leading the next session, a conversation with our judges for this Climathon Bangalore. So Neha, if you kindly take the stage, and I will be on mute. Over to you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Nars. And really, we have witnessed so much fun, excitement in the last 50 years. Apart from just being enjoyable, I would say that it was really a great learning experience, which I also kind of discovered with our breakout rooms from the experiences that have just been shared by all the participants. I mean, it is very enlightening for us also, being on the organizing side or being on the mentor or judges or student side. I think this type of initiative has kind of helped us discover the immense possibilities that we can generate with one small step taken in the right direction, and a single platform that can culminate into enormous set of ideas, innovation, knowledge, engagement, and opportunities to bring in the change. So, on that note, first, I would like to really thank all the participants for making this drive successful. I think it really, really means a lot. I mean, I was even expressing this in the breakout room I was, that it kind of amazes me that, with the kind of young age that they are in, they've been able, they're so conscious and aware about the issues that our city or our country is having. And they have that drive and passion to work towards making a change, towards creating solutions. So, I mean, just that spirit is kind of commendable. And you are the change makers of the society, the future enablers. So, thank you so much for bringing in so much of a learning for all of us as well. And now I would also like to welcome our esteemed panel of judges for Climathon Bangalore 2020. So, starting with Dr. Indu Murthy. That kind of just reminded me. Okay, yeah, so she's she is principal research scientist, CSTEP Bangalore. Dr. Naveen, who is with us, he's head of Department of Civil Engineering at MIT University. Ms. Divya Joseph, she is program manager at Raspberry Pi Foundation, and Ms. Pooja, who is a design thinking coach and a senior fellow at Milton Foundation. Two of our judges today could not make it due to certain constraints, but they would definitely be involved for their judging process, and they're kind of always clued in about whatever is happening. So Dr. Minakshi, who is Solid Waste Management Roundtable member, and Mac, who is Learning Manager, Raspberry Pi Foundation. So thank you so much, all the judges, for joining us today as well, for making out time in your busy schedules. So today, we really had so much of conversations around the issues, challenges of waste management. The last panel discussion with Indu also kind of highlighted the perspective change that we really need to have towards climate and towards waste management, definitely. Uh, Now students have really put in all their efforts and brought a shape to their ideas to work for solutions, possible solutions to waste management concern in Bangalore. So today we would like to explore with you on the scope and possibilities that such drives can generate, and what aspects students can consider to leverage these opportunities properly. And would also like to hear your thoughts on the crucial facets of hackathon that is like bringing an idea into a reality. So how much practical it is, and can it be really as was also shared by some of the students, that sometimes can it be too intimidating, and how that can be addressed for the students to actually leverage this platform. And we will also see the scalability, like what students can do to actually turn their ideas into projects. So I have like just given an overview about the kind of discussions you'll have. So I'll start with Dr. Indu, our Q&A. So Dr. Indu, like you've been working in climate sector for decades now, and in climate adaptation primarily for some time. So how important do you think such initiatives like Climathon can be in bringing into limelight some of the often ignored issues? Like we explored importance of waste management, which is often ignored as an important facet towards our climate change action plan. So how important they are in triggering a thought process with our future enablers, our students, towards identifying new challenges and addressing them. Over to you, Dr.
Thank you, Neha. I think events like this, for example, the Climathon, it's like a vehicle, an empowering movement, practically, that offers people to get that opportunity to work directly with their cities that they live in, right, to address the larger problem, which is climate change. Now, interestingly, climate change is one issue which touches every single aspect of life. It also kind of puts every person who's living on the Earth system, uh, it makes them vulnerable in one way or the other. And given that 500 million people will actually live in cities by 2030, the choices we make to manage the process of urbanization and related aspects will have profound consequences for people and the economic future. So given that it is the next generation, the younger generation, who really need to connect with that. And events like the Climathon actually kind of help them put things in perspective. Primarily because we need innovative, transformative ideas by the people, for the people, and for the spaces they live in. So, and these people have the power to change their spaces, the cities that they live in, to face the challenges that are ahead. Now, adaptation is all about that. You kind of bracing yourself for some changes which are bound to happen. And climate change is one such aspect. There are certain changes that are bound to happen even if the whole world switches to very sustainable ways of living. So that's called what we call in climate terms as climate commitments, right? So the climate commitment is such that committed warming, committed changes in rainfall would happen. So given that everything has to brace towards that future, now Climathon like this breaks down the entry barriers to people who are usually excluded from environmental or innovation spaces. So this is a platform where people have come together to promote the idea of technology for social good. And the science is telling that climate crisis is accelerating. Cities would be much more the focus of environmental concerns, and there is a need for adaptation. So obviously an event like this throws things into perspective, helps people to relate to not just one problem, but then try to look at it, look at the ecosystem of changes that are required. Because you can tweak something, but it shouldn't trigger a problem elsewhere. Now, tackling this problem is extremely important. So you gain insights into how do you holistically look at a problem. You need to think about people, you need to think about the environment, you need to think about technology, you need to think about a whole range of stakeholders who are there in the system. So I feel, this is a great opportunity, and the Climathon has definitely given that platform. So that's all I would like to say. Thank you.
Yeah, I can't agree more, Dr. Indu, for bringing in I think you have really highlighted the right perspective, in which actually we also try to work upon that the research or the technical solutions, they should not be looked at individually, but rather as a holistic, solution. And what we call as systems thinking, it's a very important facet of any research, and I think it will be one of the elements which probably will be a very crucial takeaway for all our students who are joining today, that you can't look at a solution individually. It has to be integrated into the system, and you have to then look at the overall system and assess that how it can fit in and adapt to kind of improve the solutions that already exist. So yeah, I think from that aspect, on the learnings that probably we are enabling for the students, I would direct my next question to Ms. Pooja. So Pooja, I think a very interesting aspect which came from our experience as well of last 50 years, that while these hackathons could be so much more fun for youngsters to explore new technology, learn new things, meet like-minded people or diverse set of people. Yet, what we witnessed in Climathon Bengaluru as well, that many youngsters who are in a very early stage of their learning path, the idea of hackathon, of ideating and building a solution from scratch for a very prominent issue within a few hours, this could be very intimidating also sometimes and could discourage them. So what do you suggest to our participants and students in general about the mindset that with which they should approach such initiatives to leverage the platform properly? And I mean, we say, seize the opportunity properly. So please, if you would like to share.
One of the things that you were mentioning about how the Climathon is an ideathon, it is the first step in making a very big progress in a very short time and having the first iteration. So this iteration-based iteration style of developing a solution is going to be helpful for any innovation, but particularly related to climate change and all the sustainability issues we're tackling, because it's a very complex problem. And we, don't have the luxury of time to wait for 50 years of development before we have a solution. And also it's not helpful, because when you think about systems and transformational design, it's really critical to get constant feedback, because as Dr. Indu was saying, you might make a small tweak somewhere, but be completely unaware of all the negative repercussions it can have somewhere else, all the masks that we're using right now and the gloves that we use right now and the kind of effects they have. With this time pressure, what you're creating in 50 hours is that at the end of 50 hours, you're getting feedback, which is really, really valuable. And that will then help you integrate more changes into your solution, so you ensure that the impact is going to be bigger. And one of the things that I would really emphasize is what also came up in the reflection of how people were talking about diverse teams. And it's a fun thing to work with a diverse team, but it's also really essential. The problem that we have today with sustainability to a large extent is because we were always working in our silos. We just looked from our very narrow focus, light plastics, that's great. we did not think about what's happening somewhere else. So including a very diverse group of people to work on a solution together. Technical solutions are best if you also have social scientists, if you have the users, if you have designers, if you have like a whole range of different groups of people in there working on solution with you. And I think that's something that you can take away from such events.
Yeah, very valid point. I think this is what some of our students have also shared, that I think it was the best part of the whole drive, what actually looks like the messiest, but on a hindsight, you realize that maybe that was the most interesting facet of the whole hackathon, that, coming, as a surprise factor, you come to know across multiple people from different backgrounds. You suddenly explore, you're working with, your team is with a working professional, and the working professionals get to know the insights from the students' perspective. They know that what type of new ideas or approaches they are working upon in their college programs, maybe. So I think it's really that also comes out as the best facet, what we actually think sometimes as a constraint. And apart from that, the time management, I'm sure that is the biggest takeaway, that this will kind of enable them to, whenever they are looking for going in next hackathon or climathon, there will definitely be a change in the way they approach their projects, their time, and that is the value add probably that we also aimed for when we started with this takeover drive, that our core young innovators and young leaders who are going to be actually change makers for the society, they get to the learning the whole process of how to bring it into action, what are the facets that they should get used to. So on that perspective, yeah, I would come to Dr. Naveen. I hope you are there, Dr. Naveen.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, great. So Dr. Naveen, you primarily have been as a professor having so much knowledge in this field and so much experience in guiding students academically. Would you also like to add to it or share your thoughts on this matter?
Yeah, thank you, Neha. First of all, I want to tell the Climathon and Milton has taken the very beautiful topic like waste management. As a civil engineering perspective, I want to tell, if you see a code book of soil mechanics, you can get the boring of everything. If you want to understand the waste mechanics, till now there is no proper literature, there is no proper textbooks or nothing. This can be done only by understanding the research. And I was really felt happy that the room number 3, Mr. Sumit and his team and mentor Vinay, they were discussing about what they have spent 50 hours. They were trying to explore in the limited time. As a professor, what I was observing, the young mind, now they start thinking, what do you mean by research? Because waste, we can't tell the answer ultimately. It's every time it will be keep on changing with the climatic condition. Because when rain comes, the waste behavior will be changed. When it is a dry, it will be behavior will be changed. It is it is not a uniform. It's an heterogeneous property as a civil engineering. And when you want to implement this for a construction purpose, it is again tricky. So I was really happy that students as well as mentor, they were start discussing in their room, they were expressing in their limited time. What I felt, if they take this idea to the next level, I'm sure this can be like a good PhD problem also, and they can give a good solution for the society. And when they are giving a society for the solution, at meantime, you are saving the Mother Earth from the waste management problem. Because you can see the first thing is always, if you are doing any, maybe a technical person or non-technical person, first we have to always adopt the 7 principal RS, that is called research, rethink, reuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, regulation. Regulation is nothing but policies which you are discussing in your firm is working on very strictly on that. See, without making the society or public that if you violate the rules, like without segregating, if you are not putting the fine or not giving the awareness like segregation of the waste, all things, it will come under regulation. So what I felt, now the young mind start thinking the research flavor, they should carry over to the next level. And also not only thinking in the general perspective of waste management. The waste, you can use it for the, in my last discussion also tell it have a good engineering properties. So you please think in that way, because everyday research is happening now. Only few professors are there in abroad University of Berkeley and University of Cambridge, you can see the person who are working on waste management. No other university, not even MIT. So this is the platform. This is not a saturated area. Young minds start thinking in the civil engineering perspective. You will be the like a pioneer in this field, and also you are saving the Mother Earth, and it is our prime duty. And also I request all my young generation students and mentors, you please motivate the students, at least take on small projects in our UG level only, not your UG. That will be inspired. They will understand the realistic problem. Whatever you are putting this effort like a Climathon, it is like just you're igniting the idea. So this idea will give a fruitful when they start doing the small project. They will know what is the outcome. So within 50 years, 50 hours, they can't learn, but at least now they know what is problem, what is objective, what is aim. At least now they have learned. This is my sincere request for all participants. Don't stop your thing. This is not the limited. Climathon will be keep happening every time. When you are participating, you should come with the beautiful ideas. And also this is the way you are showing the respect for our Mother Earth. So by telling this, I say thank you, ma'am.
Yes, I think definitely, Dr. Naveen, you have captured the essence of the initiative, that we have to leverage the spirit that we have generated, the networking that we have done by understanding different perspectives. So, and scaling it up further from here, and not just kind of stay limited and just take it as one event. It's much more than that, and I'm sure from here we will be all of the students will be able to look at a completely different from a different perspective. They will be able to look at problem solving and focused thinking with which you can address a specific problem. Dr. Naveen, if you would also like to, add on, because like you highlighted a very important point, that how the students should not just kind of limit within this experience, but should continue with, working on small projects. And I mean, that is also the idea, that beyond just a Climathon or a hackathon, how we can continue working on the projects that actually lead from our ideas to implementation. So can you suggest some learning avenues or tools or methods, if you are aware of, which can help the students to take their solutions to scale?
Yeah, simple thing what I want to make. I don't know the background of the students, whether they are engineering background or what is their master's or PhD. So it is difficult to tell the exact problem, but general problem what I is to sell. That's why I told 7R concept. Suppose if you are taking any plastic also, instead of disposing it, do the segregation. That is your first way of 50% successful you are doing. After doing that, you apply the engineering skill. You may ask, what is that engineering skill for me? As a civil engineer, I can tell by constructing a plastic road. How you will do? Shredding that, because when I conducted my experiment, it showed good engineering properties. So instead of disposing or throwing on the water bodies or a soil, it will contaminate and loses its bearing capacity. So they can take that at UG level or any project level, convert that into biofuel by burning at high temperature. If you capture that, it will come to a black oil that is called as a biodiesel. So that can be used for the generator purpose. Or if you want to give a solution for a ward wise, plasma gasification technique is there. There what you will do, we are putting so much regulations like a waste management rules regulation. Don't mix waste, everything. But still somewhere in the primary or secondary, somewhere we are doing mistakes. So the people, when they are carrying to the landfill, they will be mixing the waste. Again, they are making that segregated waste will become unsegregated only. So the proper solution is plasma gasification is there. There you will be putting the mixed waste burning at high temperature with a condensed form. So the dioxin won't release. When dioxin is not released, definitely greenhouse gas effect won't come. And you are capturing the gas, and you will be using for the energy purpose, and the biodiesel you will be coming, and the remaining product like hash, that you can use for the road construction, like embankment or whatever the things. It is one of the layer that is called ground improvement technique. So always we can't bring the clay material. For clay is a very good permeable. So instead of that, when you are using this waste material as a one of the layer, you will be using the soil quantity, and you are increasing the engineering properties of the soil also. It is like you're giving antibiotics to the soil. It will increase. And the best example is plastic road. That's why if you see the road of normal, it will become a pothole very fastly. But when you see the plastic road, the efficiency is very good. You won't get the pothole immediately. The resistance is good. So the only thing is apply. They have not done any big ideas. Only thing, reuse, redesign, research. Think simple thing. So what I used to tell to our young brain, you do at your house level by doing small things, by like a part composting for a food waste. When you are coming for a segregated dry waste, you apply for a rethink, make like a biodiesel or a plastic road construction or manufacturing of bricks. So in that way, you are reducing the cement content also. So as a civil engineering, I always, even my students are working on zero waste concepts. So this is the way, and there is no proper software or tools for this, because this waste mechanics, I told you, there is no code book. This will be every day. It is like a trial and error. You have a lot of code book for a water manual. There is no code book for a leachate. Leachate is nothing but also liquid, but it is an high toxic concentration. So to address this, to get one value like a pH or a BOD, we should do 10-15 times trial, because every time when you're doing analysis, the results are showing different. But in water body, you won't do. If you do 100 times, the results will be in the same. The consistency will be there. Waste is a very tricky. That's why I told it is heterogeneous. So you need lot of practice, lot of understanding the mechanics behind that. So that can be done only when you do at scratch level, and you have ignited this at very starting level only. Now students should take to the next level, because you can't do anything ultimate solution will be given by the youngsters. They should carry over to the next level. They should make us proud. That is
Definitely.
the thing.
Yeah, I absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Naveen, for bringing in so much insights. I think you really kind of nailed the how students can really look at developing projects and scaling up their ideas. So, Pooja, I think you wanted to make a quick point. Please go ahead. In the interest of time, I'm very sorry.
Yeah, very quickly, because Dr. Naveen gave us a lot of inspiration on the technology side, I would also highly encourage that everyone goes to the ground level to see what are the barriers for implementing these technologies, and to do research on the user behavior side as well, because otherwise you will not have a big impact.
Definitely. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Thank you so much to all the participants and all the judges. I think they were beautiful insights. We really came to know so much from all of you. Over to you, Lars.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Neha. Thank you so much, everybody. And on the judging panel, this is certainly a great opportunity and great inspiration. And there's so much passion in this room. I can even through Zoom, it comes across, even across, the length and the width that separates us from Bangalore, India to Chile. I can sense it, I can feel it, and that is a thank you to all the judges who will be engaging going forward. Of course, also with the Climathon Bangalore, and of course also to our mentors who have been involved throughout our 50-hour virtual innovation marathon, some of which also mentioned in the Slack that they're available for continued support, continued mentoring. So thank you, a big shout out to everybody involved on kind of a support front. And certainly also big shout out to everybody participating. And I guess kind of that is you're most curious now what is happening next. So I will very quickly talk us through the next steps. So first of all, what has happened? So we talked about the process and we did some quick number crunching. So facts and start with the figures first, and then we move over to the incentives, which will come later. So out of 107 signups, 100 eligible candidates actually made it into the pool of potential participants. out of which 60 participants actually accepted the invitation. Accepting the invitation, what does it mean? Everybody got an onboarding message with, you know, this is what's happening, this is what you should be doing, this is where we meet. So 60 people of you who are here in this, well, some of which are here in this room, others will probably watch this recording, have accepted the challenge to actually participate in this Climathon 50 hours virtual innovation marathon, to develop solution ideas, tangible, practical, efficient solution ideas to a massive challenge, as we not only have known, but reiterated multiple times also in the panels and conversations with mentor and judges. And out of these 60 participants, 24 innovators managed to come together in 4 different teams, all of which submitted their solution idea. And so that is massive, that is significant. And that, of course, also shows that if you look at the numbers, there's quite some dropout along the way. So innovation is not for everybody, which is perfectly fine. It is a messy process. It is turbulent. It is very fast paced, but there's many different roads and avenues how each of us can contribute to making climate action, to contributing to the issue discussed and brought to this Climathon, but also to ensuring that climate change will not eventually, you know, destroy us all, but we find means quickly to mitigate, to become resilient, or to build the resilience that we need. So that in facts and figures, and you know what is happening next. So all our judges, you heard many of them in the panel conversation, and 3 of them just now, will now be taking your solution ideas forward. So that is the submission that you've done. They will be reviewing all of these materials, and they will be assessing them based on the following criteria. And I need my little, you know, note here to read them out, because otherwise my memory may be missing some important thing. So on the criteria are as follows. So judges will be assessing it is a quite diverse set of criteria, because of course it is a complex issue. It's a wicked problem, complex issue, however you want to call it. So we're also looking at different ways of you know, from different perspectives. So one aspect that will be assessed is the innovativeness of the solution idea. And innovation here does not mean that it doesn't mean that it has to be the latest and greatest and newest ideas. Innovation sometimes means that a solution exists elsewhere, just not in this particular ecosystem, and you found a way, or you produced an idea that how to adapt a solution that exists elsewhere in the Bangalore ecosystem. Sorry about that. Implementation potential, so that is the viability. Is it actually a solution? And it was mentioned earlier also in the breakouts. Is it a, you know, the big idea? Is it a vision? Is it a goal? Is it kind of, you know, this great thing that you want to do, or is it something that actually can see the light, can be implemented as a project going forward? The transformative potential, in order to really make a significant push on the sustainability, towards sustainable development, you know, we need to go beyond scratching the surface and really look for, or kind of come up with and think of solutions that can disrupt the status quo, in the sense that it helps us move into a direction where we need to move in order to actually accomplish the sustainable development goals. And of course, climate waste forms a part of this. So we are also looking at the transformative potential. We're looking at, and one thing that Pooja just mentioned also is, we can't lose users, communities, stakeholders out of sight. So one of the aspects also will be the as we call it, the collaboration potential. So that is it an idea that kind of happens in a back room somewhere behind stage and at some point sees the world, or is it actually something that has the potential to engage and to connect with users, with communities, and bring them on board? Because along with the saying, it takes a village to raise a child, it takes the it takes humanity to make a difference on the climate crisis. And then there's two more I would call it more internal, but nonetheless relevant aspects that will be considered. One is team diversity. As we learned and as we discussed also earlier, intersectoral approaches, different stakeholders, different walks of life, different backgrounds, interdisciplinarity can make and do make all the difference when it comes to actually coming up with these disruptive ideas that we need. And last but not least, thought and effort that has gone into the development also of your solution idea. And also here, Dr. Naveen mentioned that research. There's research there, and there's much more research to be done. And of course, we want to build forward, which means that we need to start also with the knowledge base that is here. So these are the criteria, and our judges will be assessing over the next week or so, will be assessing your criteria, so that by November 15th, we expect to have the results that we then will share. And by November 19th, we will have our award ceremony, so to say, and the presentation of the finalist, also a session on Zoom, which is an opportunity for the finalists, so to say, the winning teams, to present their solution in a refined version, if you want, and then you can focus on polishing also if you want. You have more time now to present their pitch, their solution live and on air, which then will be shared and also can be a great springboard to get collaborators and partners on board going forward. And of course, you've seen this before, so it's nothing new. There's quite some great incentives and prizes awaiting for you. There is certainly the opportunity, I mentioned this before, the Raspberry Pi's Coder Dojo for three shortlisted team members to engage in that process. There's the opportunity for internships at really renowned organizations in the space, in the sector, either of climate action, climate research, or startup incubation. C-Star Bangalore, represented also as partner and organizer of the Climathon. Norden, which is a startup, if you want, an incubator, an accelerator of small and medium startups, building a bridge between Denmark and India. So super exciting, certainly also. And the opportunity to receive mentoring from Startups Club Bangalore, which is a community of a startup community and mentors to take you to the next level of transforming solution idea into actionable social business. Because of course, we said this earlier, this doesn't stop here. It really is just the beginning, the first step of a long journey. And of course, we will have our Climathon Bangalore champion also winning a Raspberry Pi computer and certificates for all the participants who made it so far. Plus, as this is a Climathon is a global platform, is a global movement, there will also be the opportunity for the winning team to showcase their innovation on the global Climathon platform, and possibly also to apply to the Climate Launchpad, which is an accelerator that Climathon, Climate Kick, offers for solution ideas that have the potential to see the light, and you get the support and the infrastructure also to take this forward. So quite some exciting stuff, and I really look forward to what's ahead. And well, as we're approaching this session now, I think there's not much more to do than really just again thank you all for your participation. You have made the right decision, and to quote Dr. Naveen is, in the interest of Mother Earth, congratulations, climate innovators. You've made it so far, and I really, really hope, I encourage you, I urge you to not stop here. You've done the important first step. You've come up, first of all, you've connected to a community, you've increased, you've built your networks, and you also come up with a solution that may have potential to make a significant impact. So this is only the beginning. And as Nelson Mandela, very inspiring leader, said that one thing is that, of course, it's a journey, it's a process. It's once you climb the first mountain, then you see just many, many more mountains to come. So it will not stop here. There will be more challenges ahead. But the importance is that we move forward, that we move on and take each challenge at a time and keep pushing forward in the interest of humanity. And then, of course, there's the second quote, that one of my favorites actually, that I would like to share with you, by Margaret Mead, who said that never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it has the only thing that ever has. So we may be just a few of us here in this group, and there's many, many more people out there, but you are part of a movement, you're part of the change, and the ripple effect, the people that you also inspire, that you affect, that you take on this journey, you will make all the difference. So thank you so much. Congratulations for making it to this point. And I think it's time again for another round of applause to everybody. We made it through even more than 50 hours. We're a little over time, so talking about time management. It's a struggle for everybody, but it's an important issue. And before before we're closing this session, first of all, I would like to invite the judges to stay back just for 5 more minutes. And before we're rounding the session off, maybe we can unmute, everybody can unmute, and we just shout out a quick farewell, bye-bye, see you soon, whatever it is, because the journey is yet to continue.
Bye, everyone, and all the very best.
Bye.
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 All the best, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
Fal.
Bye.
Bye.
It was really a good experience. Thank you all. Hope to be meeting you soon again sometime. Sure. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Sure.